Hello, so welcome to video number 2 for summer review, order of operations. So how many of you, when you heard order of operations, thought PEMDAS? PEMDAS is not my favorite. I'm going to actually get you to switch from PEMDAS to GEMDAS. Why change to GEMDAS? Well, because P represents parentheses, and there are so many other things that we have to do first in order of operations before parentheses, or with parentheses. So GEMDAS helps me remember that the things that have to come first when I'm simplifying an expression, meaning there's no equal sign, we have to follow GEMDAS. And G covers those parentheses. It also covers absolute value bars. It also covers a fraction bar, a square root symbol, and actually a couple more, brackets. Brackets aren't parentheses. So we actually have to do everything in between one of these things first. Then we move on to exponents. And then we do multiplication and division together from left to right, but whichever one comes first, okay? So we have to go from left to right. So if division comes first, we have to do division first. If multiplication comes first, then we do multiplication first. But whichever one comes first from left to right, we do together. All right, then after we've done all our multiplication and division, then we're ready to move on to the addition and subtraction. So think of it as the order G to E to M to D to AS. And AS we do together, whichever one comes first from left to right, addition and subtraction. And we're going to look at some examples of this, okay? But following order of operations when we're simplifying expressions is critical to our success in math. All right, so here's an example. So we're going to start really easy. All right, so we think about our GEMDAS. So GEMDAS means that we have to do all our grouping symbols first. So 4 plus 5 is in parentheses, which is a grouping symbol. So we're going to simplify that first. So then we get 36 divided by 9, which is 4. All right, a little bit harder. I add a couple more steps. So we've got to do the parentheses first. Remember, we're following GEMDAS. So we have to do grouping symbols first. So I'm going to do the 12 plus 3. So 24 minus 15 divided by 5. I always want to work vertically if I can, not horizontally on my paper. Okay, then I have to go on, there's no exponents, so I go on to multiplication and division, and I see that there is a division symbol, so I have to do that before I can get on to that addition and subtraction. So I do 15 divided by 5, which is 3. So 24 minus 3, which gives us 21. All right, we're going to add on. Now I've got multiplication, division, and addition, no parentheses symbols, which means that I can start at that multiplication and division. And remember, we work from left to right. So yes, I'm going to do the 4 times 3 first, which is 12, and then 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and then I can add them together to get 15. All right, so now let's look at ones that involve exponents and grouping symbols. All right, so back to our GEMDAS. We always want to do everything in our grouping symbols first. Now within the grouping symbols, I actually have an exponent which has to be done before I can subtract. So I'm going to do 2 squared, which means 2 times 2, which is 4 minus 1. All right, now I do the 4 minus 1 because it's still inside the grouping symbols. So 6 minus 4 minus 1 is 3. And now I can deal with that outer piece, so 6 minus 3, which would give me 3. All right, a little more. Doing GEMDAS, we've got to do multiplication and division from left to right. So I'm going to do that 12 times 2, which is 24, divided by 8, which gives me 3. Okay, so now I have 19 minus 7 plus 3. All right, now I've got to do addition and subtraction from left to right. I cannot add the 7 and the 3 before doing the subtraction. So I have to do 19 minus 7, which gives me 12, then add 3 to it, and I'll get 15. Okay? All right, harder. got a little bit more going on here with this GEMDAS thing we keep talking about. All right, so I have to do my grouping symbols, but I've got 2 sets of grouping symbols, so I always want to go into the innermost one first. So I've got to do that 7 plus 6, which is going to give me 13. All right, now those parentheses can go away once I've evaluated 7 plus 6. All right, now I'm going to do 52 divided by 3, or 13. 52 divided by 13 gives me 4, and now I can remove the brackets because 13 goes into 52 4 times. And then I do 18 minus 4, which gives me 14. All right, hopefully this order of operations is coming back to you. All right, now I wanted to throw in that fraction bar. When there's addition and subtraction in both the numerator and the denominator, you have to treat that bar like a grouping symbol. So you have to do everything here and here separately. Now that's different if it was all multiplication. If it was all multiplication, then we are allowed to simplify. But right now we got to do them individually. So 8 plus 3 is, I can't do first. I have to do the 3 times 2, which is going to give me 8 plus 6, which is going to give me 14. And then 4 plus 3 gives me 7. So I have 14 divided by 7. 14 divided by 7, 7 goes into 14 2 times. Now, Coach Fred in this one worked horizontally. And remember, I want you trying to work vertically. So let's try that on this next one. Here we've got some addition and subtraction in the numerator and the denominator. So I've got to follow proper order of operations. Not allowed to cancel these 2's out because there's a plus in the top. So I've got to do everything in the top and everything in the bottom. All right, so I have to do the 40. 8 times 5, which is, let me go down, is 40, plus 2 times 7, which is 14, all over 2 times 3. I still have to keep working with each part. So I get 54, and then I've got 6 in the bottom. So 54 divided by 6 gives me 9. All right. Last thing on the page, when Rob simplified the expression 72 divided by 6 plus 3, his answer was 8. What was his mistake? Well, you might not be thinking he made a mistake, so I want you to think about it a second. All right, so what he did, if you think about it, is that he added these together first because 72 divided by 9 gives me 8. So he did addition before he did division, and that's a no-no when it comes to GEMDAS. All right, guys, I hope you remember your rules for GEMDAS. Now you can start the problems that are on 12 and 11. They're a little bit tricky, so good luck.